各位记者朋友，大家下。
Good afternoon. Welcome to the press conference. Now the floor is open to questions.
今天是世界粮食。
Xinhua News Agency. Today marks the World Food Day. A month ago, the Food and Agriculture Organization, together with other organizations, released the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2025. The proportion of the global population facing hunger saw a steady drop in recent years, down to 8.2% last year, yet around 673 million people still suffer from hunger. The world is significantly behind on achieving Sustainable Development Goal Zero Hunger, was China's comment. Food security is fundamental to humanity's survival. As the world's largest food producer, China has made remarkable contributions. China grows food with less than 9% of the world's arable land and feeds over 1.4 billion people. In recent years, China's overall grain output has been enhanced. 0.5 out of every 2.5 kilograms of grains worldwide is grown in China. These are remarkable contributions to global food security. China has been committed to a world with improving global security and less poverty through international cooperation. President Xi Jinping put forward the Global Development Initiative and listed food security as one of the 8 priority areas of cooperation in the initiative. Thanks to its own efforts, China, once a recipient of FAO technology, has turned to a core contributor to the organization. China has provided more funding and experts and undertaken more projects than any other developing country under the framework of the FAO's South-South Cooperation Program. China has carried out agricultural cooperation with more than 140 countries and regions, provided more than 1,000 agricultural technologies to other developing countries, and trained over 14,000 technicians on hybrid rice technology. With these concrete actions, we have helped ease the food shortage in the global south and put the world on course to the vision of zero hunger and poverty. From ensuring the food supply of the Chinese people to contributing to global poverty relief, China has taken active moves to uphold global food security. Going forward, we will continue to work relentlessly to accelerate the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and build a better world. Next one, please.
Thank you. Question from AFP. Yesterday, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent criticized China's rare earth export controls as China versus the world. He called on U.S. allies to, quote, work together to de-risk and diversify our supply chains away from China as quickly as possible. What is the Foreign Ministry's comment on these remarks? Thank you.
Please repeat your question.
Yesterday, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent criticized China's rare earth export controls as China versus the world. He also called on U.S. allies to, quote, work together to de-risk and diversify our supply chains away from China as quickly as possible. Does the Foreign Ministry have any comment? Thank you.
Chinese competent authorities and also we have also shared our position on the export controls on rare earth. China's export control measures are consistent with international practice. We exercised these controls to better safeguard world peace and regional stability and fulfill our non-proliferation and other international duties. Next one, please.
发言人好，我是阿拉。
Arabi television network. The U.S. Treasury Secretary said that if China stops implementing the strict export controls on rare earth minerals, the U.S. may extend the suspension on Chinese goods tariffs for over 3 months. And he also said that the U.S. President Donald Trump is going to meet with President Xi Jinping in the near future. What's China's comment?
We have shared our position on the export controls on the rare earth and China-U.S. trade issues multiple times. Next one, please.
谢谢。深圳卫视直新闻记者提问：据报道
Shenzhen TV, it's reported that Pakistan's foreign ministry said in a statement on Wednesday that at the Taliban government's request, Pakistan and Afghanistan have agreed to a 48-hour temporary ceasefire that would come into effect at 6 p.m. on October 15. During the ceasefire, both countries would work to find a solution through constructive dialogue. Taliban spokesperson said that the ceasefire agreement was reached at the request of the Pakistani side and that Afghanistan will observe the ceasefire as long as Pakistan does not commit acts of aggression. What's your comment? We noted that Pakistan and Afghanistan decided to implement a temporary ceasefire and will work for a solution through constructive dialogue. This serves the common interests of the two sides and helps keep the region peaceful and stable. China welcomes and supports the effort. Pakistan and Afghanistan are both friendly neighbors of China. The two countries are and will always be neighbors of each other. China supports the two countries in exercising calm and restraint, realizing a full and lasting ceasefire, properly handling differences through dialogue and consultation, returning to the track of political settlement, and jointly upholding peace and stability in the two countries and the region as a whole. China stands ready to continue playing a constructive role for the improvement and development of Pakistan-Afghanistan relations. Next one, please.
Thank you, Bloomberg News. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent lashed out at trade official Li Changgang, saying that he turned up in Washington recently and behaved in a, quote, unhinged fashion typical of Beijing's so-called wolf warrior diplomats. He also said that Li was very disrespectful. Would the foreign ministry like to comment on this? Thanks.
China's position is consistent and clear. The U.S. needs to work with China on the basis of equality, respect, and mutual benefit, and solve relevant issues through dialogue and consultation, rather than keep pressuring, threatening, and blackmailing China. Next one, please.
FA News Agency, it's reported that yesterday Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with Spanish Foreign Minister Alvarez in Hangzhou. How does China view this meeting and its current relations with Spain? As regard to His Majesty King Philip's 6th visit to China in November, what's China's expectation?
Foreign Minister Wang Yi had friendly and in-depth talks with the Spanish Foreign Minister. The talks are focused, constructive, and forward-looking. The two sides reached extensive common understandings on further advancing China-Spain relations in the spirit of jointly safeguarding world peace, stability, development, and prosperity. The talks have provided important impetus for delivering on the common understandings reached by the leaders of the two countries, enhancing high-level exchanges, deepening exchanges and cooperation, and strengthening multilateral coordination. Spain is an important cooperative partner for China in Europe, and this year marks the 20th anniversary of the China-Spain Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. China stands ready to work with Spain to enhance mutual support, stay committed to dialogue and cooperation, and cultivate a comprehensive strategic partnership with greater strategic stability and vitality, delivering greater benefits to the peoples and contributing more to international efforts in addressing global challenges. Regarding the visit you mentioned, I have no information to share at the moment. Next one, please.
Question from the BBC. I wanted to ask about this case which has now been abandoned against these two people alleged to provide national security secrets to China from the UK. Now, I know we've asked about this before, but these new documents have been released in the UK as part of this process in Britain, and there are some claims in these documents, these so-called witness statements. National Security Advisor Matt Collins said Chinese intelligence services are carrying out large-scale espionage operations against the UK, and he also called China the biggest state-based threat to the UK's economic security. Does the Chinese government have any response to these claims?
We noted that China's position is very clear. We firmly oppose peddling China's spy narratives and vilifying China. Next one, please.
Yonhap News Agency. Today, newly appointed ROK ambassador to China, Hou Jiayun, arrived in Beijing. What's China's expectation of him? Diplomatic envoys are important bridges for friendly cooperation and development of relations between countries. China welcomes newly appointed ROK Ambassador to China, Hou Jiayun, to take on his new mission. We hope that after taking office, Ambassador Hou will play a positive role for sound and steady China-ROK relationship. We stand ready to provide him with facilitation as he carries out his duty. Next one, please.
Thank you again, Bloomberg News. The head of the UK's Foreign Office is pushing China to allow Britain to rebuild its embassy in Beijing, but apparently the UK has grown frustrated over the progress of those plans. This is coming, obviously, as Keir Starmer's government is deliberating over its own decision about whether to let China go ahead with its new embassy in London. Also this week, the permanent Undersecretary of the Foreign Office, Ali Robbins, will discuss the UK's long-sought improvements on the embassy in his meeting during a visit to China this week. Would the ministry like to comment on this embassy situation? Thank you.
On the China-UK premise building, we have made clear our position more than once. Next one, please.
Thank you. Another from AFP. U.S. President Donald Trump said yesterday that he has received an assurance from Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi that India will stop buying oil from Russia. Trump added in his remarks that now it's time to get China to do the same thing. My question is, are China's purchases of Russian oil part of ongoing trade negotiations with the United States, and what is China's position on this? Thank you.
China has made clear about its position more than once. China carries out normal economic, trade and energy cooperation with all countries in the world, including Russia. This is legitimate and lawful. The U.S. move is a typical move of unilateral bullying and economic coercion. It harms international trade rules and threatens the stability and security of the global industrial and supply chains. China's position on the Ukraine crisis is objective and just. Our position is above the board for all to see. We firmly oppose the U.S. making China an issue and oppose abusing unilateral illicit sanctions and long-arm jurisdiction against China. If China's legitimate rights and interests are harmed, China will take firm countermeasures to safeguard its sovereignty, security, and development interests. Next one, please.
Question from Reuters. On Wednesday, the UK added the Chinese refiner Shandong Yulong Petrochemical, as well as 3 Shandong port operators and the Beihai LNG import terminal to a list of sanctioned entities that are sanctioned for supporting the Russian energy sector. Does the Foreign Ministry have any comment? Thank you.
中方一贯反对没有
China opposes unilateral sanctions without basis of international law or authorization of the UN Security Council. We firmly deplores the UK's position and have protested with the UK on the Ukraine crisis. China have promoted talks for peace. The cooperation between Chinese and Russian companies should not be disrupted or affected. China will firmly safeguard its legitimate and lawful rights and interests. Next one, please.
Another question from Reuters. The Swedish foreign minister is visiting China. Has the Swedish side brought up or have there been any discussions on the case of the bookseller Gui Minhai? And does China consider Gui to be a Chinese or a Swedish national? Thank you.
China has made clear its principled position on the case of Gui Minhai more than once. Let me stress once again that Gui Minhai violated China's laws. China handles this case in accordance with the law. We firmly oppose any country, organization, or individual interfering China's judicial sovereignty in any form. Let me point out that Gui Minhai is a Chinese national. Next one, please.
Another question from the BBC. About these entities that the UK government has placed on this list because of supposedly helping Russia, the Russian energy sector. Might there be any reciprocity from the Chinese side following these actions from the UK government, and what might it be?
我刚才已经说过了，中方
As I just said, China will do what is necessary to firmly defend our legitimate and lawful rights and interests. Next one, please.
Thank you. A potentially major breach of an important U.S.-based cybersecurity provider named F5 has been blamed on state-backed hackers from China. Would the Foreign Ministry like to comment on this?
I'm not familiar with the specifics you mentioned regarding such groundless accusations made without evidence. We have made clear China's position more than once. China always opposes and fights hacking activities in accordance with the law, and China firmly opposes spreading disinformation out of political agenda. Next one, please.
Thank you. Final question from AFP. This one is on rare earths again, but in relation to Japan. Japan's finance minister said today that the country is, quote, deeply concerned about the extensive export restrictions on rare earths announced by China last week, and the G7 should unite in dealing with this issue. What is the Foreign Ministry's response to Japan's finance minister?
我们已经就稀土出口管制
We have made clear China's position on the export controls on rare earths more than once. China's export control measures are made to safeguard world peace and regional stability and fulfill our non-proliferation and other international duties. This is in line with international practice. We would like to enhance exchange and cooperation with other countries on export controls to keep the global supply chains stable and safe. Next one, please.
And thank you. This is my last one, too. Chinese state actors systematically and successfully compromised classified UK government computer systems for more than a decade, according to security officials, former security officials, and other government officials in a story that we wrote. The data that was accessed included confidential documents relating to the formulation of government policy, private communications, and some diplomatic cables. Would the Foreign Ministry like to respond to this allegation? Thank you.
有关的指责
The accusations are purely vilification. We urge relevant personnel in the UK to stop their baseless hypes and stop this kind of political manipulation. Next one, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Any more questions?
好，那今天的
That concludes today's press conference. Thank you for coming.